why the INFJ aura is so terrifying. Have you ever walked into a room and noticed people instinctively looking at you, not out of admiration or friendliness, but as if they're uncomfortable, even threatened by your presence? Have you been told you seem mysterious, intense, or hard to read, even when you're just being yourself? If you're an INFJ, you've likely experienced this silent reaction more times than you can count. You don't seek the spotlight, yet your presence feels heavy to others. Too real, too deep, too raw. This is the infamous INFJ aura, a quiet, magnetic force that simultaneously draws people in and terrifies them. In this video, we're going deep. This is for INFJs and only INFJs. It's meant to reveal, affirm, and help INFJs understand why their energy makes people so uncomfortable. The INFJ Calm disarms the manipulative. Manipulative people thrive on chaos, control, and reaction. But INFJs often respond with calm, detached awareness, which terrifies manipulators. A narcissistic friend tries to guilt-trip you. Instead of arguing, you quietly say, "I need space." You don't explain. You don't beg. You just walk away. And they crumble. INFJs aren't easily manipulated because they see motives. They feel shifts. They don't engage in power games because they see through them. Many INFJs report being targeted by toxic personalities early in life, only to later awaken and begin cutting cords quietly and firmly. That shift terrifies abusers because INFJs don't fight. They just vanish. And that kind of power is what real strength looks like. Trust your instincts. When someone feels off, they are. You don't need proof. Protect your peace like your life depends on it. Because in many ways, it does. 2. The INFJ silence speaks louder than words. When an INFJ goes quiet, it's not indifference, it's observation. You've likely noticed how your silence unsettles people more than any speech could. That's because your quiet holds weight. It means you're processing, seeing, evaluating. And people feel that. In a group setting, someone tries to provoke you. Instead of biting back, you remain calm and quiet. The room grows tense. Why? Because silence from someone who sees deeply is louder than noise from someone who doesn't. INFJs often learn to wield silence as a tool, not as punishment, but as protection, as a sacred pause. And those who live in noise cannot handle the stillness of that power. Don't rush to fill silences. Let your presence speak. But also, don't isolate to avoid discomfort. Your silence is a message. Make sure it speaks truth, not fear. 3. The INFJ aura awakens what others suppress. This is the deepest truth. The INFJ aura awakens parts of others they've buried. Your authenticity, your empathy, your quiet rebellion. It reminds people of who they were before the world told them to shut down. And that remembrance is painful. A new friend says, "I don't know why, but you make me feel things I haven't felt in years." They laugh, but then they pull away because they're not ready to feel, to awaken. The INFJ aura is like a lighthouse. It shines truth, and those who are lost will either steer toward it or flee from the blinding honesty it represents. You've probably felt punished for being real, for not playing along, for loving too hard, and you wondered, what did I do wrong? The answer, you existed fully, and that terrified them. Keep being the mirror. Keep being the light. But don't chase those who flee. Some people are not ready for the reflection, and that's okay. You weren't born to dim your soul to make others feel safe. 4. The INFJ aura reflects people back to themselves. INFJs are like mirrors. People see themselves in you. Because INFJs are great listeners and deeply empathetic, they create space for people to open up. And when that happens, people often say things they didn't even know they believed. They confront feelings they weren't ready to face. And suddenly, they're exposed to their own reflection. A coworker opens up about their burnout. You nod, offer quiet support. But then they walk away unsettled. Not because of what you said, but because, for a moment, they saw their truth in your eyes. Many INFJs report that people confess deeply personal things to them within minutes of meeting, and then later avoid them. Why? Because they feel emotionally naked. It's not the INFJ's fault. It's that people are rarely comfortable seeing their unfiltered self. Don't take it personally when people withdraw after getting close. Your presence brings out truth, and truth is uncomfortable. But that doesn't mean you did anything wrong. In fact, you probably gave them the clarity they needed most. The INFJ emotional intensity is too much for most. INFJs don't feel things halfway. You feel everything deeply. Your sadness is profound. Your joy is electric. Your anchor is sacred rage. Most people walk through life emotionally numbed. They're not used to being around someone who feels so purely, so unapologetically. And even when you're not saying much, your energy speaks volumes. You sit in silence during a heated group discussion. You're not contributing to the chaos, but your silence is heavy. You're processing, watching, feeling, and that stillness unsettles people more than yelling ever could. People fear depth because it threatens their shallow comforts. INFJs are emotional deep divers. And when people come too close, they start drowning in unfamiliar waters. Honor your emotional world. Don't shrink it to make others feel safe, but be mindful of where and how you share. Protect your depth. It's sacred. Not everyone deserves access to it. 6. The INFJ challenges the status quo without saying a word. You don't have to shout to make a statement. Your quiet refusal to conform already speaks volumes. ENFJs carry an inner truth that resists shallow norms. You're not impressed by trends. You're not swayed by groupthink. And that unspoken rebellion makes people uncomfortable. At work, you don't engage in gossip. You don't play the popularity game. You just do your job with integrity. And yet, people talk about you. They don't trust you because they can't figure you out. INFJs often feel like outsiders, even in familiar environments. But what they don't realize is that their very existence exposes others. Just by being themselves, they reveal how fake the system is. And systems don't like being challenged. Keep standing in your truth. Don't apologize for not fitting in. Instead, create your own space and watch the right people find you there. 7. The INFJ sees what's not being said. There's nothing more disarming than someone who sees the truth you're trying to hide. ENFJs have an innate ability to read between the lines. You pick up on body language, energy shifts, word choices, and subtle cues others completely miss. While most people operate on surface-level interactions, INFJs operate on a subterranean level, where motives, fears, contradictions, and masks are instantly detected. You're at a gathering, and someone makes a sarcastic remark with a smile. Everyone laughs, but you feel the bitterness underneath it, the pain. You notice the glance they gave someone else before speaking, and suddenly you know what's really going on. This terrifies people, not because you call them out, but because you don't. Your silence is louder than any confrontation. The human ego is terrified of being exposed. INFJs by nature trigger that fear without trying. It's not that you want to uncover people's wounds, you just do. And people feel that. Understand that your gift of insight is powerful, but it must be wielded with care. Use it to heal, not intimidate, and don't suppress it out of fear of rejection. Just know when to speak and when to stay silent. That balance is where your true power lies. Your aura is intense, powerful, unforgettable, but it's not something you chose. It's something you are. You were born with this energy, because you're meant to carry it. Not to impress, not to intimidate, but to heal. And while people may fear your presence, your insight, your depth, that's not your burden to carry. Their discomfort is their invitation to grow. So INFJ, walk tall. Let your silence speak. Let your aura radiate. You are not too much. You are not intimidating. You are exactly what this world needs. Truth in a sea of noise. Let them be afraid. You, be real. If this resonated with you, INFJ, drop a comment below. Tell me how your aura has affected your relationships, your work, your path. And if you're ready to embrace your presence unapologetically, hit that like button and subscribe. We're building a space where depth isn't feared. It's celebrated. Stay safe and see you in the next one.